Hebrews say they always black. We say we talk to God. We won't never say he talking back. Lex Luger flexing from these reverends like they torture racks.
So if Jesus says, take everything you have and give it to the preacher, give it to the poor. How many preachers are doing that? They are taking from the poor and making themselves rich. But Jesus told a rich man to take his riches if he want to go to heaven. Take his riches, that the hard-earned riches that he worked for. Now remember, the Bible also says if a man don't take care of his family, then he's worse than an unbeliever. So the rich young ruler has to violate that principle if he's going to get into heaven, right? And if he's going to get into heaven, he has to take his money and give it to the poor man. The problem with that is if he take everything he has and give it to the poor man, he's not going to be able to support his own family. Jesus ain't going to help us he's not going to help us make a living for ourselves. Which one of the disciples became wealthy by following Jesus? Which one of the disciples became rich by following Jesus? The Bible says that Jesus became poor so that we may become rich in the book of Hebrews chapter 8. The Bible also says that if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. So if you taking all your money that you work for and giving to a man that didn't work for it, how is that teaching that man to value money? Not only that, you trying to get into heaven and follow what Jesus said, but you're gonna break another commandment, because if that man is not working, he should not be eating. So why should you be giving? Why are you giving to somebody who's not working? How do you uphold both of these principles? The Bible says that Jesus taught the gospel to the poor. He preached to the poor. What did he preach to them? What did he preach to them about financial literacy? What did he preach to them that got them out of poverty? He says, don't store your treasures up in the earth. He says, don't worry about what you're going to eat or drink or wear. If you follow that, you're going to be broke. If you follow what Jesus said, you're going to be broke. You're going to be homeless, just as Jesus was. Just as the disciples was. If you follow what he said, you also going to break, you're going to disobey other principles in the Bible by giving your money to the poor. Now, you giving your money to the poor in good faith that they're going to do the right thing with it. How do you know that? By taking everything you have and giving it to the poor, you may be supplying the habit of a poor man. You may be facilitating the sins of the poor man by giving him more money to support his sinful habit. You ever thought about that? So that's not a wise statement. That's not a logical statement by Jesus. Because you're just looking at it from the rich man perspective. Oh, he loves money. But who loves being broke? Show me a person that loves being broke. So how is giving your money to the poor helping the poor get out of poverty? How are you teaching them to make money for themselves? Why didn't Jesus teach them that? How to value money, how to handle money, how to become wise with their finances. Usually when you just give people money, they don't value it, because we don't value free stuff. Anything that's free, we don't value it. That's probably why people don't value salvation, because it's supposed to be a free gift. But if God knows these things, if we know these things, then God should know that people are known to not value something free. So, how do we fix that? How do you solve that issue? When you have so many people that say that they're saved and they still broke, they still depressed, they still unhappy, they still complain, they still sick, they still hurt, they still defeated, they still trusting in Jesus. but that's not doing nothing for them in the real world. It's doing something for the people that's teaching them, the pastors, because they living off the money of the poor. They're living off the backs of the poor people, but they're not teaching them financial literacy because Jesus didn't teach them. He didn't teach the poor that. He taught them the gospel. But how does the gospel help you pay your bills? How does the gospel help you become a better steward of money? It doesn't.
Contradiction. 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 It ain't no contradiction, you just need to speak.